Number 10. Ragrikaur. Envision that a lead prosecutor bafflingly disappears under obscure conditions directly in the wake of making a last call to his live-in sweetheart to explicitly tell her of his whereabouts. The following day, his vehicle and mobile phone are discovered relinquished in the parking garage of a collectibles shopping center in a close-by town. Scarcely any months after the fact, his PC and hard drive are found in a stream. The sweetheart finds that his keep-going movement on their home PC comprised of searches on the most proficient method to crush hard drives. No leads, no pieces of information, the man is simply gone. Number 9. Lori Erica Ruff. Envision that a 42-year elderly person named Lori Erica Ruff ends it all by shooting herself in her parents-in-law's garage on Christmas Eve 2010 following quite a while of peculiar conduct that drove her significant other to leave her. After her memorial service, her better half opens a lockbox in their old family home and is confronted with a stunning disclosure: before she was Lori Erica Ruff, his significant other was clearly named Becky Sue Turner. Too naturally, the police promptly start to investigate her past. They find that Becky Turner, whose birth endorsement was held by Lori, had passed on in a house fire at age 2. Things being what they are, who was this lady? What's more, where did she come from? Although the instance of Lori Erica Ruff's actual personality was in the long run unraveled 6 years after her suicide, her past is still covered in riddle. Right up till today, a large...
Number 8. The Westfield Watcher. Envision that a wedded couple obtains their fantasy house in Westfield, New Jersey. The house needs a touch of work, however they plan on moving in with their 3 small kids after the remodels. Appears to be great, right? Well, things rapidly take a dull turn. A couple of days before the move, the spouse finds a bizarre letter via the post office. To begin with, the letter invites the family to the area. At that point it cautions them that the house is being watched, that it has been surveilled for ages, and that the family has no clue what exists in the dividers of their new home. The letter is marked by the Watcher, and it is just the start of a staggeringly frightening story. The Westfield Watcher threatened the proprietors of the house beginning in 2014. He sent various letters that compromised men, ladies, and generally youngsters, alluding to them as youthful blood. The Watcher additionally depicted the foreboding destinies which may come to pass for anybody living in the house. Bedlam and fear tormented the area. Examinations, allegations, and even claims flew around in a persistent exertion to discover the Watcher. The proprietors of the house never moved and lastly sold it at a misfortune in 2019. To this day, the Watcher's personality has never been found. All things considered, this story is an investigator flick asking to be made. In 2016, the blood and gore movie The Watcher followed a comparable storyline. A secretive individual called the Raven additionally composed letters to threaten the anecdotal proprietors of another house. Number 7. Bobby Dunbar. Imagine that it's 1912. 4-year-old Bobby Dunbar suddenly goes missing while on a family trip to Swayze Lake in Louisiana. Panic ensues, and a search begins to find the child. Nothing comes of it. However, 8 months later, Bobby is miraculously discovered in Mississippi under the care of one William Walters. The boy returns home, and life continues. But here comes the twist: no one is certain that the boy is actually Bobby Dunbar. Yet the parents keep him and claim with confidence that their son has returned. A lot of strange details surround the case of Bobby Dunbar. Conflicting reports from newspapers make the facts foggy, rendering it impossible to know for sure how the events went down. Thanks to the son of the rescued Bobby Dunbar, it was proven through DNA tests in 2004 that the rescued boy was not really Bobby Dunbar. Instead, he was Bruce Anderson, the son of a strange woman who had claimed the boy was hers after he was taken from William Walters. For this raises the question, if the rescued Bobby Dunbar was really Bruce Anderson, what happened to the real Bobby Dunbar? That a youthful Canadian couple gets hitched and chooses to go on a special first night with the spouse's closest companion. Irregular, as a matter of fact. Despite the fact that the initial segment of the excursion works out positively, things turn exceptionally peculiar when they head to a bungalow for the following hardly any days. On the 8th day of the special first night, the closest companion returns from a sunbathing adventure to discover the bungalow copying and the spouse with a terrible head injury. Soon thereafter, the spouse is discovered dead 240 kilometers, 150 miles, away from the cabin. Skimming in 23 centimeters, 9 in, of waterway water, her body strangely gives no consumes or indications of violence. 5. Doesn't this sound like the start of a succulent scene of CSI? Nobody has ever had the option to completely disclose what happened to Christina Mocon on May 20, 1947. How did the fire start? Who hit her better half, Jack, on the head? For what reason did her conduct unexpectedly change? For what reason did Ronald, Jack's closest companion, go along with them on the special first night? How did Christina seem 240 kilometers, 150 miles, away from the house? What's more, the vast majority of all, how did she die? The subtleties of the case are dubious to the point that even Jack and Ronald's announcements were in the end precluded. We will never genuinely comprehend what went down. In any case, let's face it, we would all watch that film, isn't that so? Number 5. Timothy Pitson. Envision that a 6-year-old kid gets got by his mother at an Aurora, Illinois, school just 30 minutes in the wake of beginning class in the first part of the day. They leave the structure together and disappear. After 3 days, the kid's mom is discovered alone in a lodging. She is dead from an evident suicide. The main thing she deserted is a spooky suicide note: Timothy is all right. He is with individuals who will think about him. You will never discover him. There is no sign to whom the note is tended to or what it means. 6. Timothy Pitson was rarely found. He has been absent since the day he left the school with his mom, Amy, in May 2011. Numerous hypotheses about what happened to Amy were recommended, yet no convincing answers have been found. For what reason did she murder herself? Who was she concealing Timothy from? Where is Timothy? What's more, who is dealing with him? Number 4. The Pollock twins. Envision that 2 sisters, 11-year-old Joanna and 6-year-old Jacqueline, grievously pass on in an auto collision in May 1957. This fiasco dives their folks into dull occasions. Be that as it may, the young lady's mom, Florence, wonderfully gets pregnant early the next year and brings forth twin young ladies, Jillian and Jennifer. Everything appears to be flawless until a couple of years after the fact, when Florence and her significant other rapidly begin to see weird things. Out of the blue, the young ladies start to request toys that once had a place with their late sisters. The twins had never observed these toys and didn't know they existed. 7. Jillian and Jennifer additionally start to recall places they have never visited, yet their expired sisters knew. What's more, to put good to beat all, the twins begin to act anxious, even frightened, around moving cars. It didn't take long for John and Florence Pollock to consider that their twin young ladies could be their first little girls resurrected. Following a couple of years, the abnormal events quit occurring. The twins proceeded to live flawlessly normal lives. Even today, in any case, their story is a wellspring of interest for individuals around the globe. Endless books have been expounded on them. A film about the Pollock twins would be an exciting ride, and we trust it happens in the near future. This audio Number 3. The Man from Tord. Envision that an apparently conventional, moderately aged man shows up at Tokyo's Haneda Airport on what he asserts is a run-of-the-mill work excursion. Nothing weird from the outset. At that point things get peculiar. When addressed via air terminal workforce, the man calmly makes reference to that he is from Tord, a nation among France and Spain. His visa stamps, and other individual ID affirm this data. The problem: customs authorities rapidly discover that the nation of Tord doesn't exist and never has. Neither does the organization where the man professes to work. Besides, the lodging where he professes to have a booking and the Tokyo organization where he should work together have never known about him. This story occurred in July 1954. The secretive man was inevitably confined and set in a lodging under observation by movement authorities. His own effects were kept in the air terminal's security office. By the following morning, the man and his things had evaporated, and he was never gotten notification from again. To this day, no one knows what his identity was. As of late, a book and a film were made about the puzzling voyager and his experience that day in 1954. Yet, it is difficult to deny that the opportunities for a blockbuster highlight film are unending. This audio, number 2. The Istal Woman. Envision that the remaining parts of a lady are found in Norway by a climber and his girls. The body of the unidentified lady is for the most part singed, and for some odd reason, her own things are put directly beside her. The names of her garments have been evacuated. Afterward, the examination uncovers 50-70 resting pills in her body and ash in her lungs, implying that she was singed alive. The police inevitably get their hands on a bag that had a place with the woman. 9. They find that she had numerous personalities and 8 unique international IDs. She likewise had various wigs, a couple of non-prescription glasses, and a rundown of manually written codes that ended up being dates and contractions for her goals. Charmed yet, the Istal woman was never recognized after her body was found in November 1970. Number 1. Elisa Lam. Envision that a stripped cadaver is found in the water tank of an inn in Los Angeles. It is immediately recognized as Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old understudy from Vancouver who was accounted for missing 2 or 3 weeks sooner. The last pictures of Elisa are in an odd video from a reconnaissance camera in the lodging's lift. She seems, by all accounts, to be escaping something and absolutely unnerved. Ineffectively, she attempts to close the lift's entryways before she at long last surrenders and leaves. No one knows how she wound up in the water tank. 10. Would you watch that movie, The Cecil Hotel, where Elisa was found on February 19, 2013, is infamous for its wealth of frightening dirty tricks. Be that as it may, the instance of Elisa Lam is by a wide margin the most peculiar. The viral video of her last minutes in the lift is frequenting, generally in light of the fact that we never get the opportunity to see from whom or what she is hiding.